What are you saying, ladies and gents? It is your boy BucketHatSam, and yes, we are back again today for another video. Today's video, we are doing my Game Week 32 Premier League predictions. I told you we'd be back every single week, and for that, smash that like button and do subscribe if you're new to the channel. But let's get right into it. So our first game of the game week, it is Newcastle versus Wolverhampton Wanderers at St James's Park. And Newcastle, 3 losses on the bounce now. The form has kind of gone out the window a bit recently, Eddie Howe. The performances haven't been really there. They really went for it against Tottenham, and that really came back to haunt them, obviously conceding 5 goals in that game. They're coming against the Wolves side who are in a rich vein of form, trying to push on to get that Europa Conference League spot. They've currently got 3 wins in the last 4 games, and it was a really, really convincing win against a good side in Aston Villa last week. What I think will happen with this is I think Wolves will just do what they do every week. They're very strong defensively, and they score goals, but not very many. And I think they will just about edge this one. I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win to Wolves. To our second game, it is Everton who are hosting Manchester United. And obviously, Everton losing out in the midweek to Burnley, and relegation now is fully on the cards with 2 losses on the bounce. It's really not looking good now for Frank Lampard's men, and they need results fast. And coming against the Man United side, that is not a side you want to be playing. Yes, I know Everton's form is better at home, but it's still not good enough, let's be honest. They're coming against the Man United side who are trying to push on to get to European football, and it would be a huge, huge letdown if they didn't get any European football whatsoever. And it looks like Ten Hag is going to be appointed, so some of these players might step up this week. They might be really going for it to try and say, hey, Ten Hag, look at me. I can perform, because I haven't been performing all season, but Man United, if they want to go to one side, it would be Everton, because they can easily turn their form around against them. They got a lucky draw against Leicester, but I do think they're going to about edge this one. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Man United away win. Watford now, who are hosting Leeds, and Leeds under Marsh has been just a complete revelation. Unbeaten now in the last 3 games. 2 wins and 1 draw. It's a really, really good result. And that result against Wolves, I think, was the turning point, because they had such a bad first half and they came back to win that second half. And since then, they've just been going from strength to strength, playing similar ball to Bielsa, but a little bit more pragmatic. That's it. I think that's the way you can describe it. They're coming against a Watford side that have got 1 win in the last 4 games. I don't think they can stay up. I think their chances are getting slimmer and slimmer by the week, but they need results. And coming against the Leeds side, I think potentially Roy Hodgson could do a number. And I think this will be a really interesting game, because it's 2 completely different styles. Roy Hodgson, counter-attacking style of play with flair up top, whereas Leeds like to control the game and press from the off. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. I do think, though, it's going to be a stalemate draw here from these 2 sides. I don't think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to go for 1-1. Southampton now hosting Chelsea, and Southampton were on that rich vein of form at one point, and now they've not won a game now in 4 with 3 losses as well. It's really, really not good enough, let's be honest. But they're coming up against the Chelsea side who've had a real dip in form after getting battered by Brentford and then beaten in midweek to Real Madrid. Yes, I know it's Real Madrid, but the performance still wasn't good enough. And there's a lot of stuff obviously going off the field. Could that be affecting the players? But Southampton, it's not an easy place to go to, but I think Chelsea here are the favourites. And without Brozier playing up top, obviously, because he's on loan from Chelsea, I think Chelsea will just about edge this one, because they really need to get their form back together and get a bit of momentum for that next game against Real Madrid next week in the Champions League, second leg at the Bernabeu. So I do think Chelsea's going to win this one. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Chelsea away win. Arsenal now, who are hosting Brighton. Brighton now, without a win in 5, they just cannot score. Stalemate 0-0, a draw against Norwich last week. And geez, that was a dull watch. Maupay missing a penalty. They need to score. That's the thing. They create all these chances, and it was similar to last season. They just can't score, and they've had a real drop-off in form. It's not really good enough for Graham Potter's men. They need to invest in some firepower and some goal scorers. They're coming up against an Arsenal side who've had a little dip in form themselves, only winning 1 in their last 3 games. And the pressure is on them now, because they've just fallen out the top 4. Yes, they've got they've got a game in hand on Tottenham, but the pressure's on. The top 4 is theirs to lose. So I do think you can see potentially the nerves coming into this young Arsenal side, but I do think Arsenal will just about edge this one, purely down to Brighton not having that firepower and scoring goals. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal home win. Aston Villa now hosting Tottenham Hotspur. We were just discussing Tottenham securing that 4th spot and pulling away if they can, applying the pressure back to Arsenal. And this is a huge game for them, because Aston Villa is a tricky side. Yes, their form isn't there at the moment. They've lost 3 on the bounce, but you know, Steven Gerrard, this season, they've been very inconsistent, but they're a very good side. A lot of flair players. Coutinho may be stepping up in this game, but Tottenham, they're looking good at the moment. So far in this year, they're the most informed side. They've picked up more points than any other side. And you can't blame them when they've got the likes of Son and Kane firing on all cylinders like they do. You wouldn't want to face them. And I do think they're going to win here, and I think they're going to win big. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Tottenham away win. Leicester 10th in the league, hosting 9th place Crystal Palace, and the two sides are only split by goal difference. This one is a really interesting one. Crystal Palace unbeaten in 5 with a huge win against Arsenal. 3 wins in the last 5 games. It's absolutely amazing. And Leicester themselves, who are in good form as well, with only 1 loss in the last 5. I do think Leicester have been tarnished this season by a lot of injury problems, and I think they were unlucky not to beat Man United. They probably should have last week. This one's going to be a really good one. Two sides which this season, they've been good. I think you can solidly say that. As I said, I think Leicester have just been unlucky with injuries, and I think they will be fighting back here now, and they're trying to get a late push for those European spots, and I think Leicester are just going to about edge this one. I think they're going to get a 2-0 home win to Leicester. Norwich versus Burnley, 20th place Norwich hosting 18th place Burnley. Geez, this one is a proper corker of a game. Norwich, I think we can safely say, are down. They're fighting for their lives, but they're just not getting results. They've only got 1 draw in the last 5 games. That was a 0-0 game against Brighton on the weekend. As I said earlier, that was a really difficult watch. With Burnley getting their first win in 5 games, and was it a huge one for them against Everton. They've given themselves a lifeline now, and if they get this win and results don't go Everton's way, they could come out of the bottom 3. This is a huge game in the relegation battle, and I do think Burnley will just about edge this one. It's going to be a cagey affair, but we know Burnley know exactly what they're doing. They've been in this situation before, and I think they're going to get the win here. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Burnley away win. Brentford versus West Ham now, and Brentford, a real resurgence in form again. 3 wins in the last 5 games, and that huge historical win at Chelsea. I still can't believe it, let's be honest. When you watch the highlights back, it's like a dream, isn't it? What a result for Brentford, and what a performance, let's be honest. Janelt was absolutely unreal, and they're going to be going into this game very, very confident, coming up against the West Ham side, who, as recording tonight, will be playing again in the Europa League, and that's a huge game for them against Lyon. Will they do it? Who knows? But this is about the Premier League. And I do think this will hinder them, this Europa League, because they haven't got a very strong and deep squad. That is the problem. And you can see they're getting tired. And I think Brentford potentially could get a result here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Big result for them. Now, for the real reason why you've all clicked this video, Man City hosting Liverpool. Liverpool now with 5 wins on the bounce. The form side going into this game, and with a win, they could go top of the league and leapfrog Man City, who have had 3 wins in the last 4 games, unbeaten in those 4. And it's really difficult to split these two sides. You know there's going to be a winner. It's not going to be a draw, let's be honest, because both sides really, really need a win, let's be honest. And 2 completely different styles of play. Man City trying to control the game, and their way of making Liverpool and compressing them is by keeping the ball, because Liverpool need the ball. Let's be honest, to score is so obvious, and that's what Man City do. They defend by keeping the ball, whereas Liverpool will let them keep their ball, and they will wait for moments, and they'll press. And that is the only problem. Man City sometimes, I do struggle when they play against Liverpool, because Liverpool press. That press is so difficult to beat, and I do think Liverpool will win this. Yes, I still believe Man City will win the league, but I do think Liverpool will win this game. I'm going to go for a Liverpool 2-1 away win. And that is it for my Game Week 32 Premier League predictions. Smash that like button and do subscribe if you're new to the channel. It does really help, but hopefully you've enjoyed the video. And yeah, let's see how many I get right this week. I didn't have a great week last week, but I don't think anyone did, because there were some really, really shock results. But thanks for watching, guys. As I said, comment your predictions, and I will speak to you guys next week. BucketHatSam over and out. Thank you. Goodbye.